mortuaries, funeral homes, morgues, autopsy rooms. These are all settings in the horror genre that I absolutely love. I mean, look, it's in my name. So let's talk about some of my favorite horror movies in this setting. I'm also going to incorporate my watch list, movies that I still need to get to that are in this genre, but I haven't had a chance to yet, so you can let me know if they're worth watching or not. Also, if you're ever looking for my lists, I do create these lists on my Letterboxd, same name as this one. It's at MandyMorgue87 if you want to follow me over there for my lists and see what I'm watching every day. So let's just dive into it. First up is Unrest from 2006. This is about a medical student who believes that the body she's working on is haunted, and strange things start happening to them. So she starts to investigate with her peers to figure out what happened to this body and figure out how to stop it. This one was a part of the After Dark 8 Films to Die For horror series. I believe this was the first set of movies in that series, and it's just got that dark, cold feeling of an autopsy morgue situation. It's got the body horror element and an interesting take on a haunting. I think there are some issues with it, but I do have a soft spot for this one because it's very early 2000s and it was a part of the first After Dark Horror Fest film series. And of course we have the Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is about a father-son coroner team who must investigate this mysterious Jane Doe who's come into their place one night, and they have to determine her cause of death by the morning. And while they're investigating, they discover some mysterious and weird clues within her body. This one is just, it is the perfect combination of everything. It is the perfect body horror set in a mortuary. It's got the father-son family story to it, and it's a really good paranormal story. There's a lot of good scares, and the atmosphere is brilliant. Like, it's suffocating at times. And these two are in the basement of their mortuary, and they're kind of cut off from the rest of the world. There's a storm happening, and a lot of weird, unexplainable stuff is also happening. The performances are fantastic. We have Brian Cox, who's amazing in everything, but especially in this, and I just love this story. I love the mystery and how everything unfolds. Then we have The Possession of Hannah Grace from 2018, which is kind of in the same vein. It's about a medical student who has a cadaver come in one evening while she's working the graveyard shift, and she starts to suspect that it's possessed by a demonic force. So she's trying to uncover the mystery, and weird stuff is happening while she's working this night shift. I love when a person is set in a night shift situation where they're the only one on duty, or like a few other people are on duty, and weird stuff is happening and there's no real help to the outside world. I think that Shay Mitchell is really good in this. I don't think it's as strong as the Autopsy of Jane Doe, but it's an interesting and fun mystery at its core. Anatomie from 2000 is a German horror movie about a woman who gets accepted into this prestigious medical school, and she finds this man on her dissection table one day that she knows. So she starts to investigate what happened to him, and she uncovers the dark secrets behind the school that she's at. This one stars Franca Potente. I'm probably butchering that name, but I love her. She was in Run Lola Run. She was in Creep, which is one of my comfort horror movies. She's really good in this, and it's got that sterile, cold feeling because she's in this medical school where everybody is high achievers. There's like people who are pranking others because that's what you do. You get razzed, or what is it, hazed. You get hazed in these types of situations. So there's a lot of paranoia and suspense, and she doesn't really know who she can trust. And again, it's another interesting mystery at its core. Pathology from 2008 is about a pathologist who's very gifted. He is in this program, and he gets invited to be a part of this like elite group of other pathologists, and he discovers that they play this weird game where they essentially commit the perfect murder, and the others in the group have to determine the cause of death. I just remember this one being kind of sleazy, kind of dark, gory at times, and just it felt a little heavier than the other ones. I don't think it's as like fun because there's a lot of dark stuff happening, but it shows how kind of out of control this group of people become, and just how the danger amplifies over the course of the movie. Flatliners from 1990 is kind of a little bit outside this subgenre I'm talking about, but it's also focused on medical students. They figured out a way to essentially die and see the afterlife and get brought back. So they're a bunch of medical students. They're doing this stuff in like morgues and medical areas, and they're essentially killing themselves so that they can experience some part of the afterlife and come back and tell the others what they experienced. And some of them start to stay a little bit dead too long and they get haunted by things on the other side. This is from director Joel Schumacher, so it's got some like really good moments, an amazing, like perfect all-star 90s cast. We have Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is amazing. I love him in this. And, you know, it's again about these people that just get addicted to this feeling of experiencing death and coming back, like reuniting with their loved ones, and it gets dangerous. So I do wish this one went a little darker than it does, but I do think it's a really fun time. Mortuary from 2005 is, I would say, a comfort movie for me. This is from director Tobe Hooper, and it is so campy, it's so silly, it's so stupid, and it perfectly encapsulates everything I love about mortuary set horror movies, okay? This one is about a family who relocate their lives to this new small town, and they move into this kind of decrepit old mortuary, and the mom has just become a mortician, so she's learning the ropes. And what they don't realize is that this house has got a dark history. It's kind of haunted, and weird stuff starts happening in the town. People start getting infected with this mold, and the kid in the house starts to investigate with a bunch of friends. This one is just very, I will say, dumb. It's stupid. It's got that sci-fi feel to it, but that's kind of what I love about it. It's very nostalgic for me. It's very cozy, and I just love the atmosphere because everything's dark, slimy, and gross, and the characters are just bizarre and weird. And then we have Daniel Bird, who's the lead, and I love him. I've loved him since Hills Have Eyes. I know he's done a bunch of other things like A Cinderella Story and all that stuff. He's so good in this, and it's just fun. It's got that small town vibe, small town character vibes. There's a cemetery that plays a huge part in it, and it gets crazy and bonkers. I love this one so much, and I will take no insults about this movie, okay? Mortuary Collection is a 2019 horror anthology about a young woman who's kind of, she's troubled, and she seeks, I guess, help, or she goes to a local mortuary to find a job, and she meets the eccentric mortician there, and he tells her different tales that are all bizarre and weird. And this one has just great little stories. They're all fun. They're all different. They have some great performances. Jacob Elordi is also in one of these. He has a really bizarre story. This one, I feel like it amplifies things, and it's not afraid to go a little crazy, and it's just fun. It's set in this beautiful mortuary, and what more could you want? I want to live in a mortuary, okay? Tales from the Hood from 1995 is another horror anthology. It is about three guys who show up at a mortuary to get something from the mortician, and while they're there, he tells them a bunch of grisly and terrifying tales about the bodies in his mortuary. And this one is pretty heavy, and it's also super creative how they tell these stories. There's stories about racism, police brutality, and a bunch of other stuff, but I think the way the stories unfold is just so unique. And I love the ending. This has one of the best conclusions to a horror anthology ever. And Clarence Williams III, who plays the mortician, is incredible. One of the best performances ever. It just gives me chills thinking about what he says at the end of the movie. Nightwatch from 1997, which is a remake. I don't remember the original language of the film, and I tried to watch the original, but I couldn't because I'd already seen this one, and I like this one, even though it's a little ridiculous. So this one stars Ewan McGregor as a guy who gets a night shift job at a morgue. And he basically has like this routine he has to follow to turn off lights and lock doors and shit. I don't know. It's really creepy and weird. And there's also a series of brutal murders happening. And he starts to question if the person or people in his life are involved, but then he gets wrapped up in it because he gets accused. It's just really interesting and wacky. There's some incredible performances, and the mystery is really interesting. It's kind of predictable, but I think it's fun. It's over the top and crazy. I do one day want to try to finish watching the original because they just came out with a sequel that I believe is on Shudder, but this one is mine. This is the one I grew up on, so this is the one I like, okay? I know it's not that good. Return of the Living Dead also has moments that happen in a mortuary. This is the 1985 horror comedy about zombies that come back to life after two numbskulls, I'm gonna bring that word in, they unleash this like toxic gas into the air, and it starts it starts bringing the dead back to life. So this group of people seek refuge in a mortuary. Perfect. There's a whole scene where they are doing an autopsy on a zombie, and it's amazing. I will never forget that scene. It changed my brain chemistry. And you know what? It's everything I want, okay? Night of the Demons is also set in a funeral home, and this is set on Halloween. This is the 1988 horror comedy about a group of girls who decide to throw a horror party / seance at the local funeral home. And guess what? They awaken some demons, and those demons start possessing them one by one, and the others have to figure out how to get out of the mortuary alive. This one is just 80s sleaze, has fantastic moments, dance moments with lipstick that you'll never get out of your head. It's funny, it's silly, and overall, it's fun. The next movie I'm mentioning, I don't really like, but some of you might like this because I know you're some dark and twisted motherfuckers, okay? So this one is The Corpse of Anna Fritz, and this is about 3 men who sneak into a morgue to see the body of a deceased movie star, and they decide they're gonna have sex with her, okay? And you know what? It doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. Don't watch this one if you want to feel good, okay? Because this one, I went into this not reading the synopsis, not looking at the poster. I was pretty shocked, okay? And it starts off 30 minutes of just them doing stuff, and then it changes. There's a twist in this movie that I did not see coming, that I did enjoy. So then the movie becomes something different. I do think it has a fantastic ending, and it's a unique take on this kind of subgenre that I don't want to say to give away, but it is disturbing, and it's not very good. So okay, now I'm jumping into my watch list. These are movies that I have not seen yet, but they fit the bill. So if you've seen them and you recommend them, please let me know in the comments below. This one sounds really exciting. It is called The Nightshifter. This is a 2018 horror movie about a man who works the night shift at a morgue, and he has the ability to communicate with the cadavers that are brought into the morgue. So this one sounds kind of like that show starring Eliza Dushku from years ago called True Calling. Literally the exact same setup. She worked in a morgue, she could speak to the dead, and then time went back and she could like try to save them. Amazing show. Go watch it if you can find it. This one I'm very excited for. I think this is Spanish, I want to say. This was made in Brazil, so I think there's some subtitles for it. I think it's on Shudder, but I do really want to watch it. Funeral Home, aka Cries in the Night, from 1980. This one is about a young woman who moves to her grandmother's home, which happens to be a funeral home, to essentially turn it into a bed and breakfast, but things go wrong, okay? After they open, guests start disappearing. I think that it might be haunted. It might have something to do with it being a funeral home. Who knows? It's 80s, I'm hoping it's sleazy and fun. It has some decent starred reviews on Letterboxd, so I think it's gonna be good. The Body from 2012 is about a young woman whose body goes missing from the morgue, so they're investigating and they believe that her husband is responsible. I don't know if this is horror per se, I think it's more kind of thriller, psychological thriller. This one is Spanish language as well. They love morgue stuff. Then we have Morgue from 2019, which is about a security guard who gets assigned the night shift at a morgue in a hospital. And then, you know what, I think he gets trapped in there one night and things don't go well. It is my ultimate, that's what I want. I love, yes, late night shift in a morgue, trapped, can't get out. Give it to me, I will watch it. This one is also Spanish language. See? They like their mortuary morgue set horror movies. Also Afterlife from 2009, starring Liam Neeson and Christina Ricci and Justin Long. This is about a young woman who wakes up in a morgue, and Liam Neeson is the mortician, and he essentially tells her that she's dead. And she doesn't know if she is dead or if he's just a crazy guy. The stars are not looking good on Letterboxd. 1 star, whatever, I'll give it a watch. It's on Tubi. And it has Christina Ricci, okay? And lastly, we have Mortuary from 1992, starring Bill Paxton. Did I say 92? I meant 1982. This one is about a young woman who is investigating the seemingly accidental death of her father, and she goes on a very dark and dangerous journey. I'm assuming it leads her to a mortuary, I hope. We'll see. We'll find out. And there you have it. Those are some morgue, mortuary, funeral home, autopsy room, medical horror. I feel like that's a bunch of things mashed together, but they're kind of all very similar in vibe and tone. I love them, okay? I can't get enough of them. Let me know if the movies on my watch list, which ones I should prioritize. Let me know if there's any ones that I didn't talk about that you think I definitely need to check out, because, like I said, it's my favorite. Can't get enough of it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will catch you next time. Bye.